Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Boomer. Just want to give you a concrete context on how well my day was when I actually first started doing canvassing and how I made my first six figures. So when I first started the canvassing journey, it was really scary per se because I actually never done cold marketing on myself, knocking on someone's door and making a relationship and saying, hey, did you want to spend this 5-figure ticket with me by just knowing me a couple days? And it's really hard. And that just really blow my mind that I could just knock someone's door and make 5-figure income or it's 6-figure income by just doing that. It really didn't register my mind when I first started. So failure was not an option when I started back in 2019 of October. I first started to do my first D2D business. When I first went out, I actually had a mentor that took me around, and the deal that I had with the mentor is if I got 5 deals for the mentor and they closed them, then I actually can start closing for myself. That seems like 5, that seems like not too much, not of a much of a hassle. So we went start canvassing, her and we knocked doors, and she knocked doors, all the doors for me, obviously, because I was just shadowing and wishing she did it. Some of them I was like, are you listening to the customer? She just like, what's going on in the script? And fairly enough, I think in 2 hours, because we were knocking on a Sunday, I remember people were watching NFL football during that time, and she was able to get 2 appointments in the neighborhood within like an hour and a half. I got fascinated. I was like, so how much is the commission you can make off it? You can make $2,000. So I was like, so if all those 2 people sat and they bought, you telling me you can make $4,000 by just 2 hours of work? She basically said yes. I really didn't know how the product worked, how there was no money down, nothing out of pocket. For those who are wondering what industry I'm in the renewable energy industry, solar to be very specific, along with roof, AC. The thing is, what I was really fascinated about is how the product was geared to make the customer win. And I never really seen that kind of a product before. I sold vacation properties, I sold real estate properties, I sold cars. I was trying to sell insurance, but it didn't seem like something I was like excited about specifically. When I got the opportunity, because I was so sick and tired of not producing the income that I wanted, producing the result that I wanted, the ultimate decision that come to me on my first day is I need to go all out, and failure is not an option. So on my first day, I went into a gated community. I don't know why I was thinking that. I went to a gated community and I was just knocking, and I was running into people that was renting majority of the time, because funny enough, the neighborhood that I was at was actually a vacation neighborhood or rental neighborhood, you can say, because I was living right by Disney. So a lot of people were actually renting it out on Airbnb so they can actually make a rental income out of it. So I was there just knocking aimlessly, talking to people that didn't even speak the language or just here on vacay, just talking about solar to people. Funny enough, I think I knocked on the same door to the lady that said no to me, and she's like, are you serious? Why are you in my door again? Like, she was really mad at me because knowing that I came back knocking on the door again, even though I forgot to mark it or forgot to mark the right home at that time. I got yelled at that. I had someone who was interested, but I guess I didn't set the right expectation on that we need to sit, have an appointment. It was more like, I need your bill, I need your account, just so I know my ammo. For those who don't know anything about the solar industry, what we need is actually their energy bill, their consumption, so we know accurately how much kilowatts they will consume and what kind of solar system they will need. So it's almost like an ammo for us in a sense. And I guess I didn't set the right expectation, and then all got from her is the bill. I was contacting her nonstop saying, hey, when's the time we can sit? When's the right time to sit? And I could never hear from her. That was one of the interactions that I had. And the first door I ever knocked is actually the first sale I ever had. And I knocked. Obviously, my pitch was all over the place for being a first-time person or first goer, you can say. And funny enough, I went back to that same house, I think a week and a half later or 2 weeks later, and actually the husband was there, and I was pitching the husband, and the husband said, yeah, let's go and actually sit. We're available on the weekends. So that made me realize, you know what, just because you spoke to the first person and it didn't go well, you might be speaking to the decision maker, or you might not be speaking to the decision maker, which is a really interesting perspective on that. My second day, because I know failure is not an option, I knocked 200 doors, and I think I got 1 or 2 appointments, and the conversion ratio was 1%. And I was knocking on these places that was super saturated. People came through there. People were telling me this is not soliciting neighborhood. Back in the day when I was like 25, 26, I don't know what that means, not soliciting neighborhood. I was just like, what does that even mean? You telling me like this is illegal? I can go to jail for doing this? Is what I was thinking. I thought it was super ridiculous, honestly. So I just kept on going, kept on going. It felt really uncomfortable when you had people that was like aiming for you to get kicked out of the neighborhood. I did that continuously, and I think it took me definitely over a month because it was before Halloween and it was before Thanksgiving that I actually got finally appointments that people sat and they sold. Now, one of the biggest problems, it was really rigorous because like I was like knocking like from 2 to 6, 2 to 7, like 100 doors, like even knocking on houses that are shaded that probably shouldn't even go solar, or houses that had a really, really bad roof shouldn't even go solar because I never got trained. I was like, this is the script. You got to hit doors. You need 5 sales to graduate. And I just went off. That was my mentality, is just like whatever it takes to do it. And I think a lot of people don't have that habit or don't have that skin in the game where you're willing to get rejected over and over and over and over and over and over again just to get your one yes. And that one yes is going to give you a 5-figure sale, a 5-figure commission. And most people just stop after the 9th no, when actually the 10th no is actually going to give you the first yes. People are just socially accustomed to what they know, which is being polite and not trying to take no's, because being rejected in society is not considered a norm, and it just feels super weird for people. Coming from someone who just wants to make it happen and just didn't have a big why, but just, I need to survive. I need to make it. And driving a car that was about to break down kind of thing, or once every 3 months, that really scared me. And I think there were some nights that I was scared that my car not might work the next day, and there was nights that I was like, oh, I hope this sale goes really, really well, because this is really I'm depending on. And there's a moments always like that. And also there's moments where I think my managers and my leaders are not helping me enough. I think I need to step it up and help myself learn. When I graduated, there was this like flat line that I was not even growing. I was like, I got 5 sales. I got praise from people in the company. I'm the only one working on a Sunday. I'm banging doors like crazy, and none of the leaders are banging doors. And they're just telling me to knock harder without even telling me the proper training. And when I go to training, it's just like super salesy, like I don't want to sell it that way kind of sales was going on. And I was like, this product is so good. Like, why are they selling like this? I can sell it like a conversation and it's not like a big deal. I was just so frustrated. And I was just putting so much work, so much effort, just trying to be the better version of myself. And I didn't really care. I really care about income, but at that time it wasn't really care about income. I was like, if I get better, I know the money's gonna come. That was kind of my mentality. And one day it was like crazy. I was like, I'm gonna quit this company. I'm just done with the BS telling me to go out, not giving me the growth I want, focusing on other people. And I'm busting my butt every single day, going on the doors, getting appointments, getting closes for them, not for me, not even teaching me how to do it, and thinking the way they're doing it is perfect, not being accustomed to my personality on how I want to pitch it. So when that happened, I was just like, you know what? Really what ticked me off is I wanted to actually do a Zoom meeting. I think virtual appointments can actually work, because the guy was like, you know what? the pandemic is actually happening. We would prefer if we can do Zoom. I was like, hey, VP, do you think I can do Zoom for this appointment? I was wondering if her closer, which is your wife, actually, the closer can actually do a Zoom close for me. And he started laughing at me, like, it actually made me super ridiculous and made me almost feel stupid that I almost said that. And sure enough, when 2020 hit, guess what happened? He went to virtual appointments and he said, oh, at first I wasn't willing to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I stared him in the eye, and he didn't even say sorry and you were right, anything like that. That's when I became in the verge. I was like, you made fun of me. Not only you made some racist comments about me, and you act super immature, talking all about your closes and your sales rather than focusing the individuality on how was your week, what did you do, what made you better, that you performed better this week than last week or last month. It was nothing like that. It was all about him talking about his life, his closes, what he said. And I'm like, is he good? I can close better than him probably, is what I was thinking. Not because I was cocky, because I used to work with the guy and he actually was in the same position that I was, and he got fired sooner than I did. So I was like, what? I was just in the verge of a breaking point at that point. Same with the coworkers that I have was talking about the same thing. I felt like our director was using it, rightfully so, because he was getting a certain portion of commission from us. So when I left, long story short, one of my friends actually came, knock on the door, funny enough, because he had actually dropped off a rent check to my landlord, and my landlord actually owned 2 properties, and one of my ex-coworkers that we both left, and this is the time after both of us left, after a month or so, and COVID was like happening, and like 2 months of the pandemic was passed. He was talking about this company that was all about morals and ethics. And I decided to join the company, and it was actually everything I was looking for as a company, culture-wise, the leadership-wise. And really, that was the reason why it helped me grow. It's because of the leadership and the people around it. Not because of the company, not because of the best product. Company and product does help, but it's really about the people that surrounds you. And when I found out they had the reviews that I want, guarantees that I want, taking the risk and liability from my clients and putting it all in the company, but actually having a really good protection system right behind it, it just changed the whole thing. But obviously, just because I did join the company doesn't mean I was magically making six figures overnight. I think really the best example I can set you up is actually I was working 6 days and 1 day off. What I mean by that, I was working Saturday to Thursday. So what that means was my day only off was Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, I was going from 2 to 7. 2 to 7. I had to tell you, it was really, really, really rough when I first started, because I was that really like cocky kid who think I knew how to pitch, I knew how to sell, but I was just all over the place. I just needed structure and just needed a pitch that worked good for me and just follow along with it. It didn't really help. The leader that I had knew better than I did when it comes to selling. Didn't really give me the right leadership or the tools to really put me in a position to win. So I got disappointed on that more than anything. I think the funny part on that is that I never quitted. There was like days and months where I was like, I think I don't have enough money to pay for my rest of my living expenses. That's all I was thinking. But I just never quitted because I knew the work I was putting in and the deals that I had lined up. So I kept on going. And I think it took me about 2 years doing that, working 6 ones, 2 to 6, 2 to 6. And when it was daylight savings, when the lights were out, I was working 10 to 2, 2 to 6. That's what my hour was. And the weekends, oh my God, the weekends was fantastic. I was working at 10:30, getting all the way to 3 or all the way to 5, 10:30 to 5. I was just nonstop. Weekends are actually what's considered my horrible days just because of the amount of work that I was putting. And when it rained, I had an umbrella on. Actually, when it rains, it was probably one of my better days just because people are super nice, just letting me in, or most of the people are home in Florida, so I had a better interaction doing that. I was recording my pitches, recording my closes when I was in home. What I do is in-home sales. I go inside people's houses and sell my product. So it was just really funny to me and an amazing ride because I just had so many limiting beliefs that would this work out? Can I make this a living? Well, people refer me to business, and really funny. I mean, just put in the work, man. Don't listen to people that say you can't do it. Don't listen to that rude customer that was a jerk to you. Just grind. Really, really put in the hours. Control your schedule. You're the master of your own life. You're going to spend half of your life just saying you're too young, or the half of your second life saying you're just too old. And whatever you want to get in your life, you just should just do it now. It was crazy when I was driving a car that I thought it was going to break down once every 3 months. Not having enough money, sweating. I had to reject girls on dates that I really, really thought were pretty. And they never talked back to me just because I was a guy that never told them that I was broke and kind of faded away. And you just never want to be that guy who just like don't want to provide to someone. So there's just many dates that I just never heard back. There's just many opportunities of trips, like going on a vacay that I always miss with friends. I miss some birthday parties, some nights out with friends. But to be honest, it's just really, really priceless because like there's no such thing as quite the feeling of investing into your own future. And one of the biggest things I always learned, if I can really help you guys, is that I put my head down 2.5 years, just looking down, just knocking on doors aimlessly, hoping that one day that things were gonna work out. And I was just scared one day, like, will my car break down so I can never get out? Will I pay the bills so I can actually eat? Do I really have to go Chipotle 3 days in a row and cut this thing in half just so I can have lunch and dinner? You know, it's that grind, it's that poise, it's that excitement of getting out from the bottom and trying to be a grown man or grown businesswoman to yourself. That's the thrill, that's the excitement of getting away from your older version and chasing the better version of yourself. And tough times just don't last. Tough people do. And I want you guys to really analyze, record yourself when you pitch something, when you market something, whenever you get a chance to interact with someone, record yourself and analyze yourself. Really break down what's some things that you can improve and really what you can integrate, and what's some things that other successful people people are doing that you can put in yourself. Don't become them. Take things that you like so you can become a better version of yourself, because they already are the person that you are looking for, or the version that you are, which is a successful professional or a successful salesperson or a successful leader. You just want a bit of piece of that so you can make a little bit of your own. Don't become someone else. Become who you are. Find the people that's going to help you. Master your craft. Invest in yourself. Say yes and figure out the rest later. Put in the work, because the work will do it for you. And yeah, man, just grind and put in the good work. Make your customers happy. When you have happy customers are going to refer you to other people. And just put in the grind. It's not really about finding the right company, best commissions. It's not like that. It's about finding the right people, finding in a surrounding that you feel comfortable, and you will win. And that was a little bit of my Canvas story past 2.5 years, or full 3 years if you want to say. But yeah, it's a hell of a ride. Enjoy the grind, man. You're gonna miss it a little bit, and you're gonna have really great stories. For those who are new here, my name is Boom Kim. I talk about anything marketing, business, social media. Tell me about your grind story, your hard times that you had to go through that made you the person you are today. And I'll see you guys in the next video on what makes you one of the best versions of yourselves. So yeah, we're gonna talk more about habits and all that. I'm looking forward to see you guys in the next one. Peace.